Does he want to say anything more?
Jennings, how are you? Let me get there. Here, right here.
Well, wait a minute. Does he want to? Wait. Daddy, do you want to say something real quick? Steve, back up.
This is indeed a great surprise. Thank you very much. This is, I promise, the moment to celebrate Maggie's birthday. So we have a snow celebration. Thank you very much.
Hey everyone, how are we all doing? We all recognize? Does everybody recognize everybody?
No.
Well, just in case, just to refresh your mind, my name is Ray. You may have known me, as I've been told, when I had hair. It was a bad sign, I remember, when I was working with Mike Oak over here, and I used to kid him about his growing back skin, and here I am now, matched with him. But hey, all of you look great, and it's great to see you all.
What happened to you?
I lost it. It's great. We are here for basically like a Woo Chee Chong reunion, but what I consider is more of a family reunion. But I think most of all, we're all here to pay tribute to Mary and Jennings, who have affected all of us in one way or another. Whether it was working part-time to earn money to go to school, working full-time to raise a family, or just working because you need a part-time job and wanted something to do. And we really appreciate that, Jennings. I want this table of grandchildren here to pay attention to what your grandparents have done. They have affected all of these people in this room here. Just to give you a little background on the store, the company was opened up in 1899. It moved over to Third Island in 1949. 1964, which is where I grew up, 16th and Market came about. From there, it grew to another store down in Chula Vista in 74. In 78, we opened up the Kearny Mesa store. From there, we opened up our Oceanside store in 92. Now, we have many generations of people here today. Some of you don't recognize each other because you may have worked at different stores. But in one aspect or one way or another, you are directly affected by Mary and Jennings, just from your two managers that trained you. Whatever Mary and Jennings taught them, they passed off to you in one way or another. We had Gordon up at the Kearny Mesa store, Michael Kuma down in Chula Vista. And though you may not have met them personally or worked with them, trust me, whatever they taught us rubbed off on them. There's many things that we learn in that store you just can't learn in school. It's like I was talking to Dave Sue and everything. I mean, when's the last time you got to clean sculpin or sea bass, split pig's feet in half, go home smelling like fish? Store holds many memories for many of us here, especially through the 64 and the 70 eras. We have some workers here that worked during that time when they knew of only one store. Very strong family ties back then, and when I started in 1970, you learned a work ethic that you won't learn anywhere else. One of the things was peer pressure. If you didn't pull your weight, you'd hear it from your co-workers. But a lot of the things that Jennings taught me, I've held on. He always had the open door policy at his store. One of the reasons being he never had a door to his office. And that's if you could even get in there amongst the clutter of paperwork. But I owe Mary and Jennings deeply. I was proud to work for you. And there's many people here that wish to say the same thing. So with this, I hope you enjoyed this afternoon, Jennings, Mary, and Mike and Gordon and a few other people would like to come up and talk. If anybody else would like to pass on any stories, by all means, you're more than welcome. It's an open mic. Thanks a lot, guys.
We're all here to show our appreciation and gratitude to Mary and Jennings for giving us an opportunity to make a living, to pay for our educations, and to raise our families. very difficult to find the words to express how much you meant to us and how much you contributed to our lives. When we started, and I started back in '67, the store was a very different place. We didn't have the actual warehouse space in the back. It's a very small building. Delivery trucks. Delivery trucks are very interesting. We had a small van. We had 2 state trucks, and one of the state trucks, the older one, the white one, had the habit of getting stuck in gear. I don't know how many times you go out on deliveries and the damn thing would get stuck in gear downtown San Diego and you couldn't move. So you'd have to turn off the engine, get out, lift the hood up, reach down, and there's a shifting lever, right, Raleigh? You pull the shifting lever somehow, and then it would go back into neutral. But of course, you have to close the hood, get back in the truck, start the engine. By this time, everybody's waving to you and telling you how much they appreciate you, causing them to miss the light. That same truck, I remember going on a delivery, and the engine wouldn't start. So I called back to the store and asked Raleigh what to do. And he said, find something big and heavy and hit the starter. 3 bangs later, the engine started, you're on your way. Just to move the merchandise around, it was a very different facility. We only had hand trucks and a forklift, a pellet jack, I should say, not a forklift. The only forklift we had was Raleigh Quad. Raleigh's right arm stacked every case in that building to the ceiling. And I know, because I caught those cases when he threw them. Very different time and a very different place. Connie, in her comments, talked about Friday nights. And I think Friday nights was a very special time in the building. I remember Mary making the comment to me that as the week got on, she noticed Raleigh's mood would change. By Friday morning, he was almost giddy. Because it wasn't that it meant that it was the end of the week. It meant that all of the part-time workers that most of us are going to school would show up, and we would pick up the groceries to be delivered to the restaurants. We would receive the product that evening, and it was just a very festive day. It was very much a family day. So those of us that were in college, we'd go to class, or sometimes we would go to class. We'd go to work, and believe it or not, on a Friday, going to work at 12 o'clock, you would put in 14 hours. So most of the time we worked till 1 or 2 in the morning. But what was really great about those days was that when we locked up the building after receiving all the product, we'd go upstairs for dinner. And dinner was like Thanksgiving and Christmas all rolled into one. Because that kitchen would be just crowded with kids, with workers, 26-ounce bottles of soda all over the place. And we would just sit and we'd share a meal and talk and laugh. Those were times I'll never forget. The feeling of togetherness, the feeling of family. Something that I don't think I'll ever experience again in my life. But what was even better was after we would go downstairs and we finish our night's work. Everybody will have fond memories of the different things you had to do. Not all were really pleasant. But as a group, you worked together and you got things done. So after a couple of years, we got pretty good at what we were doing, and we were able to actually get the work done by midnight. And I'll just tell you one story. It's the only story I'll have to tell. There was one evening, Peter Wong, Emery Hoshi and I got done at about 12 o'clock, and we were having coffee. And to kill time, we decided to pitch quarters in front of the fish case. So here we are pitching quarters, and Joe Nishimura rounds the corner and asks what we're doing. So we're gambling, right? So Joe comes in. About 10 minutes later, Jennings shows up. And this time he goes back to the office to get a roll of quarters. We pitched quarters till about 4 in the morning. Jennings was there, as always, no matter what it was. Whether it was cleaning fish, sorting pea pods, he was there and he was with us. It's an atmosphere and a feeling of togetherness that at that age and that time of my life, I'll always remember. From that, what we found is that workers would tell everybody else, their friends that they were going to school with, what their work experiences were like. And so we would find that we would develop a network of future employees And this network was very strong because we always worked together as a group. I'd like to introduce you to Steve Tomiyama. Stephen was one of the people that introduced me to Woo Chee Chong. Come on up, Stephen.
Told me twice now, I'm speaking loud. So hopefully you can hear me. I started in Woo Chee Chong in the summer of 1966. Prior to that, being a gardener's son, I was gardening with my dad, and the opportunity came up to go to work for Woo Chee Chong. At that time, I was pulling weeds in Lakeside at 110 degrees out in the summertime and making $5 a week, not a day, a week, or the opportunity of working in a store where it was air conditioned or at least cool in the shade and making a whole $1.10 an hour.
You made more than I
I
did.
think I'm gonna go with the Woo Chee Chong. At that time, there were, in terms of the full-time employees, you had Akbak the butcher, you had Labu, and you had Rose. Us part-timers that were going to school and working was a guy named Reno Padua, Mark Swina, and myself. And being the new kid on the block, for some reason I got all the less desirable jobs to do in the store. I remember the first time that on a Friday, everybody talks about Friday, and Friday was a special night, but I remember the first time on a Friday, my job was to clean the fish case. Now, those of you that worked in the other stores, I don't know how the fish cases there were. They may have been refrigerated and all this other nice, wonderful stuff. But in the old store, they were not refrigerated. You had to pour ice on the thing. And they would sit with this collection of water dripping down from the fish underneath for a week, because the only time it was clean was once a week on Fridays. One of the things you learn after you did it once is you wanted to always do this after dinner next time. And because once you took off the ice and started cleaning it, believe me, you would always remember the fish case. So I won't want to ruin your lunch now, but you would remember the fish case. The other things that you would do is obviously mop the store at the end of the day. And Mike alluded to it, but one of the things that I had difficulty with was when the rice trucks would come in. We would have the rice delivered. This is the days before you had the forklift. You guys that had the forklift, you had it easy. We had the pallet jack. We had to load the rice in the truck, probably at 2,000 pounds, 20 pounds, at least 20 sacks of 100-pound rice. We had to take it down an incline, and then there was this elevator behind you, like maybe 20 feet. I don't know how many times I had to jump on that pallet jack to make sure I wasn't crushed in the back of this elevator. It was a different scenario, a different situation that we had during that time. You have to learn how to do many, many things then. We didn't have one particular job. One day you go in there and get the produce case ready. The next day it was maybe do deliveries. There was a lot of different things that we did. So we always had to know different areas and always be prepared to do different things there. So, and that's what made it interesting for a lot of us, I think. Rather than say, okay, I'm going to work the butcher case this day or this or that, whatever. It was always a constant revolving change for us. Over the years, Mike alluded to it, we had other guys started to work there. We had Emery Hoshi. Emery, for some of you, lives up in the Pleasanton area now. We had Michael Kuma started after around that time. That was when Mike had black hair. We had a guy that we nicknamed Peter Fonda Wong that worked there. If you know Peter, you would understand why we called him Peter Fonda Wong. Mike Oka was also during that period of time. Little Ray Kawasaki, John, the preacher's kid, Ma, back there, worked during that time. And there were other ones too, I'm sure. But those are the ones that were coming during that period of time. You know, Mike, again, talked about the Friday nights, and they were special evenings. You know, and one of the, if you read the website, you probably have noticed some of the things. That one of the questions is, what meals do you remember the most? The one meal I remember the most was that LeBou would only make chashu on Friday, right? Not when you guys have the delicatessen that you got it every day, but back then chashu was only made one day a week on Friday, and that was getting that fresh chashu as it came out of the oven and slapping it between a piece of Wonder Bread and eating it while you were unloading Joe's truck. One of the things you're going to hear very much today, either at your table or up here at the mic, is that the feeling of family that was associated with the store. Is there a particular incident or situation that you could say, hey, this is what made it that way? I think obviously it was what, Mary and Jennings and all the kids made us, other people, feel like as being part of their family, part of the Woo Chee Chong family. You know, over the years after I left, and I think it was about 1970 or 71, and I graduated college, I got into my professional career and did all kinds of other things. I didn't realize it at the time, but as I went through my career, I realized, you know what? There were some very important lessons that I learned working at that store. In fact, lessons to this day that I continue to use on a daily basis. Those of you that work directly with Mary and Jennings, you will understand this. Am I working now? And as I have managers or new supervisors that are reporting to me or asking me for advice, I tell them, you have to treat people as adults. You have to treat them with respect, and you have to let them do their job. And don't ever ask an employee or somebody that works for you to do something that you won't do yourself. Now, where did I learn that? I learned that working at Woo Chee Chong. So to this day, I use the lessons that I learned there. So again, thank you very much for those. One of the things I want to make comment on, Jennings, Mary, all these people in the room here, and the ones that weren't able to attend today, this is your legacy. All these people here are here because of you two, you and your family. And I want to just say again, thank you very much. I'm supposed to hand it back, right? Am I supposed to hand it back to Ray?
To Gordon. Gordon.
Gordon? Oh, okay, Gordon.
Times have changed. I need my singing glasses. You can barely hear me. Talk about peer pressure, following the people who spoke earlier, I knew I was going to forget a lot of things, looking at everybody looking at you here. So I wrote mine down on paper, and I'd like to express what I have down here. First of all, isn't this really great to see one another after many years since our employment at Woo Chee Chong? I'd like to welcome all of you who have taken time away from your very busy schedule to attend this very unique and special reunion. There are many memories all of us have, and I'm sure that those memories are what have brought us here today. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Gordon Shimizu. I started out with Woo Chee Chong in 1974. Like many teenagers, I wanted to establish a little independency, go to school, move on with my life, and I chose a career. Little did I know that this would be the beginning of 21 years of employment with one company, and to this day that I cherish. Jennings, Mary, thank you very much for letting me be part of the Woo Chee Chong family. Your strength, kindness, and trust you have given me the opportunity to grow and mature as an individual. Your reputation and vision in business has carried beyond the walls of Woo Chee Chong. Through my employment with other companies, I have had clients and vendors tell me from the Pacific Northwest to the East Coast that they've heard of and remember Woo Chee Chong. I remember when the corporate officers of Food Basket and the owner of Panda Express would come into the Kearny Mesa store to study the fast food operation prior to their success. The strength of a company starts at the top and branches off to the personnel who have been chosen to supervise the company's operation. I feel very fortunate to work under the supervision of Michael Pluma, Wally Kwan, Ray Hom, Steve Seibert, and Steve Arado. Through their leadership, I was able to learn what it would take to be a good leader. I also feel very fortunate to work with many of you who are here today, and those who could not attend due to personal commitments. My fondest memories lies with the Kearny Mesa crew, who had started out young and matured into responsible individuals, and many now with families of their own. On a given day of work, there was laughter, jokes, pranks, and emergencies. But when there was work to do, the commitment the crew showed was far and beyond. I also would like to introduce the two people who were responsible for this reunion to happen and get the ball rolling. If it weren't for Sai Tan and Bryson Kim, I think this reunion would never have occurred. I'd like to give them a round of applause if you guys. To close and speaking on behalf of everyone who have gone through the doors of Woo Chee Chong, Jennings, Mary, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the trust. Thank you for the memories. And thank you for being Mary and Jennings.
That was a very nice one. Well, it's great to see everybody here. You know, through all these years of working at Woo Chee Chong, I've probably touched feeling everybody here. And we had a lot of time, a lot of good fun. You know, we were brought up our kids, my brothers and sisters and I were. We never found members of playing with all the employees at the 16th Street store. And running around the floors when those guys are trying to put
Roller
things on the
skates!
shelf.
Roller
Oh yeah,
skates!
that's right. We had our skateboards and roller skates because we didn't have any time to do it during the regular day because we're always at the store.
But after we mopped the floor.
Yeah, Ray didn't like that because we left the wheel marks on the floor. We used to also climb the rice stacks that Raleigh and Steve would stack all the rice in the back of the store, and we climb up on top of there and make a mess of that too, and all the rice would start falling down. Didn't have to pick it up later on. But anyways, those were the old days, and I'm sure that you all remember some of those times. And at the other stores, like in Chula Vista, Kearny Mesa, and even Oceanside, You know, we really appreciate all you employees that helped make Woo Chee Chong what it was and what it is. And I'm pretty sure my parents really would like to thank you for having all the good times and your support through all these years of good times and bad times. And with that, I'd like to thank you all very much for coming in and helping us celebrate.